Today, we're going to tackle one of the most influential books on strategy ever written. It's called On War by a Prussian general named Carl von Clausewitz. Now, this is a 200-year-old text, but it's still shaping military thinking and global policy right now. So how does a book written with a quill and ink stay so relevant in an age of drones and cyber warfare? Well, let's dive in and find out.
So let's start with the big one. What even is war? I mean, it seems like a simple question, right? But the answer is incredibly complicated. Is it just random chaos and violence, a high-stakes game of political chess, or is it something else entirely? Well, for the last couple of centuries, the most profound answer has come from this one guy, Carl von Clausewitz. And he wasn't just some philosopher locked away in a tower. He was a soldier who lived through one of the most chaotic periods in military history. And he made it his life's mission to come up with a theory that could actually explain it all. And to really get Clausewitz, you have to understand the world he came from. You see, his ideas weren't born in some quiet library. They were forged in the fires of revolution and what he terrifyingly called absolute war. Clausewitz's whole world was turned upside down by the French Revolution. Suddenly, warfare wasn't just for professional armies anymore. It involved entire nations. And then in 1806, he lived through this massive humiliation when Napoleon's forces just completely crushed the legendary Prussian army. That one battle proved that all the old rules of war were officially dead. He even ended up serving with the Russians against Napoleon, which gave him a front-row seat to grand strategy on a massive scale. All of this, it all fueled his life's work. So this is absolutely crucial to understand. On War is not a checklist. It's not war for dummies. Clausewitz wasn't trying to write a simple how-to guide. He wanted to get to the very soul of conflict, to create a way of thinking about war in all its messy, complicated glory. And this deep, philosophical dive led him to his single, most famous, and probably most misunderstood idea ever. There it is. That one sentence. It changed everything. It sounds so simple, but the implications are just massive. War isn't what happens when politics breaks down. War is politics, just with bloodshed. So what does that actually mean? It means that war always has to have a purpose that goes beyond just winning on the battlefield. It's a tool, a very violent tool, that a state uses to get what it wants politically. Wiping out the enemy's army means nothing if it doesn't help you achieve your political goal. Every military action has to serve policy, period. Okay, so if war is a political tool, what's it actually made of? What are its components? Well, Clausewitz gave us this brilliant model to understand all the forces pulling and pushing in any conflict. He called it the Paradoxical Trinity. He saw war as this dynamic interplay of three super powerful forces, all constantly in a delicate and often pretty unstable balance with each other. All right, the first element is pure, raw emotion. We're talking about the violence, the hatred, the hostility that fuels a conflict. Clausewitz tied this primal force mainly to the people, whose passions can really ignite a war and keep it going. The second part is chance. War is just packed with uncertainty. It's chaotic, it's unpredictable. This is the world of the army and its commander. They're the ones who have to navigate what Clausewitz famously called the fog of war, where nothing is certain and your best-laid plans can fall apart in an instant. And finally, there's reason. This is the government's job, to use war as a calculated, rational tool to achieve its political aims. The true genius here is that every single war is a completely unique mix of these three things: the passion of the people, the military bumping up against chance, and the cold, rational goals of the government. But see, Clausewitz wasn't just a theorist. He was obsessed with the gritty reality of war. He knew that on the ground, even the simplest plans can become monumentally difficult to pull off. This quote just nails his idea of friction. Friction is that invisible force that just makes everything harder than it should be. It's what makes the simple difficult and the difficult, well, seem impossible. Now, it's really important to tell the difference between two of his most famous concepts. Friction is all the little things that go wrong. A truck breaks down, a message gets lost, bad weather rolls in. Think of it like sand in the gears of the war machine. The fog of war, on the other hand, is the big picture uncertainty. It's not knowing exactly where the enemy is or what they're planning, or even if your own troops are where they're supposed to be. A great commander has to be able to handle both. So we've covered politics, the Trinity, friction, and fog. But what does it all add up to? I mean, why are military academies and universities still teaching this 200-year-old book? Well, it's because his ideas literally became the building blocks of modern strategy. Take his concept of a center of gravity. He argued that every side in a war has a core source of power, the thing that gives them the strength and the will to keep fighting. It could be their army, their capital city, their leadership, whatever. The key to winning, he said, is to figure out what that critical point is, and then focus all your energy on taking it down.
So when you put it all together, you get this amazing mental toolkit for thinking about conflict. First, war serves politics. Second, its nature is a trinity of passion, chance, and reason. Third, friction and fog are just a part of life. Fourth, your strategy needs to hit the enemy's center of gravity. And finally, you can never, ever forget the human element, things like troop morale and the genius of a great leader.
And this right here is the ultimate takeaway. Clausewitz didn't give us a rule book. He gave us a way to think. His work is this timeless, powerful framework that helps us ask the right questions about why wars start, how they're fought, and what it really truly means to win. Which leaves us with a really big question for today. In our world of AI, cyber attacks, and remote-controlled drones, do these very human-centric ideas about passion, political will, and friction still hold up? Or has the very nature of war finally changed into something that even he couldn't have imagined? That's definitely something to think about.